Hi Aquarius. Welcome to the space. Hope you had a happy birthday if your birthday was recent, or happy birthday if your birthday is now. Happy being alive. Okay, Aquarius. So, I'm recording this in March. So Jupiter and Saturn together. Let's see what you want. I guess things to be a little bit steadier, but particularly internally. I feel like for a lot of you, maybe some of you are moody. This is what you want, though. You want something to be more consistent, not so complicated, right? It's almost like Velcro. There's hooks and loops in Velcro, right? And because it's so small, it's like you can't really do anything. Like, they have to, something about you have to work together. Because what's the point, right? Velcro's like again, it's two layers. It's hooks and then it's loops. And if you have Velcro is like there's one side and another. If you just had a bunch of Velcro that was one side, it's like that doesn't do much, right? What is this about? There's something about humility here too. Let's contrast this to what you need, because this is what you want. What do you need? The grace. I guess some of you may need to look at yourself in relation to your mother and see how you're similar. Maybe this is where the humility comes in. I mean, I guess this could be another parent, but I feel like with the pearl, I'm seeing this pearl, so it feels more Cancerian, more motherly. I guess whatever. There's a family member that you're just like, I guess, is the point. There's a part of you that's just like, because we have layers, right? There's like all these layers. I heard of Velcro, and yeah, there's some threads there. There's some layers there that are just the same, and I guess you have to, I don't know, be honest about it. But because you have the card grace, you have humility and grace. These are two of the virtues, right? So it's possible for you to handle it correctly and without the ego getting in the way too much. I see that the ego would be the thing that would block this process, and that's where things get all kind of wrapped up and tangled, right? Because when doesn't Velcro work? When there's a bunch of lint on it, right? You gotta clean. It's like it's like your hairbrush, right? You gotta clean all that stuff out. I heard it'll just fester. This is water, not wine. Let's see. Let's keep moving. What you want, what you need. How do you feel right now? Well, you're focused on your feelings are like, it would be helpful if you focused I need one more card for this. This is how you feel. I guess you could be disappointed I guess it could be individual because it's a feeling, but this could also be something like you're disappointed with, I don't know, like some of you it's your neighbor, or it's how things got built in the first place has, there we go, hidden treasures. What is the virtue of greed? What's the opposite of greed? Giving? But this is in your feelings section, so you have to focus to be able to find some sort of feeling which gives you some sort of gift just a minute, please. Well, I heard again, like, how are you like your parents, or and where is it that needs to, like, or your family, you know what I mean? Like, somebody's just like somebody else. Again, I keep seeing it. It's like, like how does your family deal with money? I guess is also something here that in relation to your feeling and what you need to focus on. Right, because some people feel guilty for having things, and some people feel guilty so they don't try to have things. They don't feel like they deserve it. Like, I guess, where is it that you feel like you deserve something, and where is it that you feel like you don't? And how does that, in some way or another, relate to what's around you or wherever you came from? Because it's a little prickly. It's a little bit, I heard it's a little bit cold. But there's also something sort of beautiful. But the way that it's set up, it's like someone didn't have foresight with something, and so the feelings are now, again, I heard prickly. It's almost as if this is interesting energy, Aquarius. I guess I'm recording on Saturn's day too. I feel like we just had a really in-depth conversation there, like information, and it's only been 8 minutes. So, okay, well, this is how you feel, right? But let's look at the reality of that. Okay, you have the card Smile. And this little baby bird with the railroad tracks. How you feel the reality. Well, I guess sometimes you're okay. There's something about, like, sometimes you're okay if the surface just shows something being fine, but it's almost like when you clean the house, right? Say you, like, just wash the dishes and put them away. Like, you wash the dishes and you get the hair out of the tub. Like, that's not cleaning, right? Cleaning is like you got to start from the top and you work your way all the way down. Right? Because if you don't, this is one of the times usually we want to start at the bottom, right? Or start really inside and work your way out. But sometimes, I guess you got to, if you really want to, clean something, certain things, you got to start from the top to the bottom. This is the house, right? So I guess pay attention to your house, like the state of it, or your space. Like, is it cluttered? Is it dirty? Is it organized? Are you setting aside time to, I heard, exercise? right? There's some sort of hard work that needs to be put in, but there's also something that you're being stubborn about a little bit. Somebody's being stubborn, and don't be too hard-headed about something. Please. And I guess because ego connects to fear too. Which interrupts the ability to accept help or to receive help or to give help or to feel comfort, right? It can make us lose hope in these spaces. The glory of all it is that is life. And we can look at this in a really wide way, but really life, something about this is like life as a human, there's some really fundamental things that just need to be handled day to day, week to week, there, month to month, season to season. Like I heard, and the humans have lost something about losing the way, but we don't have to. And I'm seeing this more because we're in Pisces time when I'm recording this. This is a wider collective message. And so I heard, please do your best in your day to day. And that I heard that includes processing pain correctly, like properly. You know what I mean? Because I guess if like happiness and joy and all this good stuff is sacred, right? Like I've said it before, but like what isn't sacred? You know what I mean? I guess there are some things that are profane. But it can always, that can be recognized and then switched back over to sacred. But this comes actions, right? It comes from decisions that cause a physical outcome to some things, about choices. So I guess, what are you scared of right now? Maybe for some of you, this could be too, you have this humility card with this other one, and this is what you want, but it's almost like you change your mind sometimes, or at least in this time, it's like your mind's switching a lot. You know what I mean? Like even your feelings, you could be like going in and then going out, and it's like you care and then you don't care, or like you're happy and then you're sad. There's something about being moody. And I guess there is something that you're really connected to. And again, it goes together. But it's almost as if you're trying to separate yourself from it. But I guess you have to admit something that, again, brings, like, humbles you, or, like, causes a humility. Or maybe it's just you feel like if you did disconnect from something, maybe you'd fail or something like that, like you wouldn't succeed, and then you'd have to be like, oh, now I'm humiliated, I said I wanted to do this, or you wanted to, again, to do something, but maybe you're ashamed of something that you did, or somebody's disappointed in you. You could be disappointed in yourself. Alright, I know this is Saturn time. Most people want to hear about how big baller you are in your spiritual journey, and how money's like good and love and all this stuff. And yes, these things can happen, but there's times where we have to, right? Alright, we had to address that, whatever that is, in sort of a harder way, right? And then we get to laugh about it, like open it up. That's a part of natural law, because if the rule of natural law is do no harm, well, that also means, I heard, not being a jerk, and to yourself or to other people. And I know sometimes it's hard, right? Get frustrated, right? Shadows comes out. It overpowers the things of the past or situations, like maybe it feels overpowering right now, and it's just kind of like you want to hold your position and like be sympathetic, but there's also something where you're just like, like, I don't know. There's a frustration for certain. But whatever that is in relation to now has something to do with like an old feeling. You know, it's a thing that like maybe it used to make you happy and now it doesn't. Or maybe it makes you happy for an hour and then all of a sudden it doesn't, right? You like love it and you hate it and you're like, what? It's too, you're super, I feel like you're moody. Somebody's moody. So please, if the emotions are this big, right? We're in Pisces time. It's watery. It's this big, huge ocean. And then it's you, Saturn, coming, trying to bring it back in. And then the water's just pulling you out. And then it's going to come back in. I feel like the only thing physical that you should be deciding, technically, I heard, unless it's a conversation that you need to have, is like no major physical decisions, like I wouldn't move house. I wouldn't, things of this nature. If you need, I heard if you need space and time, then express that. But again, the physical thing should be just like keep your house clean. I heard keep your nose clean, prepare for the next season, right? And maybe sometimes you got to go really day to day. Right, maybe you're going to have to resist something and keep calm. Do you know what I mean? Just a minute, please. You okay, baby? Oh, you go girl. Come on there. Maybe you need some time to yourself. I mean, beyond your responsibilities. I do feel like preparing for the next season is really good. Because you know what? Getting out the... Like, okay, when you get shit out, right? You just be like, I just... You know, someone's like, I feel like shit, or something like that. It's Scorpio stuff, right? It's Virgo. It's like we have to analyze what we have to change, or something that needs to change. But just that admittance is so important, which I guess could be humiliating, like admitting how you feel about something, or I don't know, like maybe you're concerned about what the future's gonna be, and so... But I see, please don't making decisions whilst being moody. And I guess if you are this moody, I'd also suggest, not to tell you what to do, but if any of you who drink or like, I don't know, the energy I feel that's like flip-flopping, maybe some sobriety, some it'll help you find more of this loving space. Because I heard you got to get the lead out, you know. You're ruled by Saturn. That's its metal. You got to get the lead out. Right, lead into gold is actually Aquarius to Leo. And Pisces is a nice time because it's about compassion and forgiveness. But the thing is any sign, what it represents is something that doesn't come easy. You know. It takes a long time to figure it out, right? To protect that, the essence of being in the blissful high elevation of whatever we're within. And the advice is for you to be persistent in something and also to protect yourself, right? But I feel like the protect yourself has more to do with you preparing for the next year, or for the next season. Like, what are your plans for, I heard self-sufficiency, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's a part of it. Maybe some of you don't feel like you can do something on your own, in some kind of way. And so you keep a thread attached to something, even though you know it's super complicated and it doesn't even really make you happy, even though you deal with it sometimes. It's okay. Please stay. Uh-uh. Aquarius. I've been mentioning this a lot this month, but this is a time of Lent, right? At least for a portion of this month, and that's about fasting, right? It's about removing something. It could be physical, it can be a habit, it could be sugar, it could be alcohol, cigarettes, it could be anger, you know, it could be resentment at that person, it could be fear. Right, you can let go of whatever it is, and it's there for you to you know, being without something is basically trusting in something higher than you, that you will survive, that you can do it, that you can change. It's also just really healthy for your body. Again, whether this is something physical or emotional, right? It's gonna clean it out, because when we don't do that, and it would make sense that all religions, all through time, and even to this day, people fast regularly during certain seasons and for certain reasons, because it clears it out so we can see more. Well, I guess it's a test for whether you believe that like in the journey. Right, that you're safe and loved and protected, and in that process can be fun, you know, like, because they also say when you fast, you're not supposed to show on your face that something, you know, that you're going without something. You're not supposed to be like, meh, poor me, you know, oh, fasting sucks, you know, or whatever, like, not doing this sucks. It's supposed to be like, no, thank you. But not even saying it, or even bragging, be like, oh, I'm fasting. It's like, I heard, who cares? Because you're not necessarily doing anything really for anybody else. You're really doing it for ourselves. And sadly, I guess humans to a certain extent are kind of selfish, right? And sometimes that comes out as egotistical, and sometimes it comes out as fearful. Interesting reading, Aquarius. I guess this is revealing some sort of hidden treasures. So there's some sort of information that you should know about by now, like through the winter, right? This last season, it's like, I feel like you realize that something, well, you were meant to figure something out. And I heard, and now you, and then you say thank you. You know, and because of that gratitude, there's something that helps you get from point A to point B, and this is a big gap. You know what I mean? So I guess thank those that have helped you. Thank that which you believe has helped you. Right, because winter is sort of like fasting too, right? It's cold, things don't grow, it's slow, it's harsh, right? But it's just a part of things. It's supposed to be a time of resting and of growth. And so I guess if you've been doing that, then let me see what this one is. How much attention did you get when you were a kid? or like receiving help, giving help, something like that. But especially when or like when you go back, go back when you're a kid and like look to, I don't know, like the road you lived on, or some tree. There's some sort of attention. The inner child needs attention. I also feel like if this is you have children, literally, they need your attention right now. And there's something like, I guess you're just gonna, I feel like if you tap into some space, you're gonna remember something they'll help you realize. Goes back into when you're really young. This connects into this, whatever you're hooked on. Do you know what I mean? That Velcro, whatever it is. And then I just saw like the last part of a scab. You know when you get like a gnarly scab and you can't pick it because it's too thick and hard, right? It's like a shell, it's protecting you, but it's like just the end of it is attached and it's sort of grown into the new skin, right? But to actually rip it off, because you know it's just like hanging on there, it's like when you rip it off, you're gonna rip a little bit of what the good stuff is too. But I heard it's not really an issue. How did you physically hurt yourself too when you were a kid? And remember that you're super strong, right? This is why we're even able to have this conversation. And if you were still here, I want you to know that you were very strong. This is where that rock comes in. You're like, yes, okay, I'm going to handle this, right? I saw, if Aquarius is next to Pisces, it's almost like in your stone, like Saturn, then it would almost be like you're these huge cliffs, you know? I see them too. They're huge. They're like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet. Right, and the ocean's just been slamming into it forever. And maybe that's why sometimes you ignore how you feel and you make your own feelings like a secret. I don't know. Trippy. I love you, Aquarius. I know. I want to like hug you. Right? How often did you get hugged when you were a kid? You know, maybe some of you were coddled or... Hey! No. Get over... Stop. Hey, come here, please, now. Come on. You already ran off and you have it again. Get up here. Come here. Come on. Up. Like, maybe some of you were coddled, maybe some of you weren't touched like the other. I feel like there's an extreme here. Or maybe you were sometimes, like, I don't know, maybe they'd hug you when you were sick or something, but maybe they wouldn't otherwise. Or, you know, like, when did you receive physical attention? There's something about this. Yes, please. You keep getting this remember card. And he's eating blackberries, too, which are protective from, like, negative energy. But those are brambles, you know, and those actually have a hook on them too, right? It's so sweet, and that's actually ruled by Virgo. And it does help, just like the crab apple. Well, I guess you got to believe it for it to work, but it works in this. I find it to work in the same instance as blackberries, crab apples. These help like alleviate bitterness. And for some of you, that could come from your South Node also. Come from K2. Yeah, I keep pulling this. I heard because of any of that moodiness. Again, this is a pretty. I feel like this. The feeling isn't overwhelming, but it's a lot of information what we just discussed, right? Yes, things of broken promises and humility and greed and all this. There's big words here, right? But focus on some fundamental things, right? Keep yourself grounded in this time. Again, please take care of your diet. Make sure you are letting things out. Maybe some of you need to let go of a relationship. Maybe some of you will learn something about what your desires really are, and or why you're not desiring something, or making a choice to desire something new. I do feel like, because we didn't talk about it, money's probably fine. For some of you, you could even have some income coming in. It depends how hard you work, though. I do see that. Like, if you sit on your laurels, then not, especially if you're, I don't know, like freelancing or part-time or looking for a job or whatever that is, right? I also see, please sleep well. Make sure your schedule is good, and because there's something also in Pisces time. There's a lot of this can be very. It's a wonderful time to release what no longer is needed. Right, those sharper parts of you or a situation, that bottle. Right, throw it in the ocean. Just throw it in the ocean. That's the thing about Pisces. That's probably why. Whatever. We're not going to get into it too much, but just Pisces is very accepting in that way, because everyone's going to do it anyway. So allow that to be in the space to soften, so that you can free yourself from whatever this idleness is that you're feeling, and work towards something that's more. I feel like you need to be looking at like a life, like something lifelong, or like really long-term commitment. Like there's something that's important here. Right, again, maybe for some of you, you're at a certain age and like you haven't thought about having a family, or maybe some of you were too scared to have a family because you didn't want to repeat patterns of your family. I don't know. There's something deep in here. Ooh, this is beautiful. Look at the great blue heron, and then well, they're both herons. The cradle of life and the principles of truth. You've accomplished so many magnificent things. The things you've done in this life, the things you even will do. And so remember, I guess, that it's okay to be scared or admit that fear, or but then remember that wherever it is you feel like you can't fly, right? It's almost like maybe that humiliation is sort of like riding a bike too. It's like you got to fall down when you ride a bike, right? You got to skin your knee. You have to, even maybe a few times, right? Then eventually, you remember when you learned how to ride a bike and all of a sudden you finally did it. It's like someone let go, or you just did it, and you realized in that moment, you were like, oh my God, I did it. I did it, and you could feel the freedom, and you realize you're in control, but you also are sort of cautious, right? Because it's still, but you can do it. And I feel like Aries reading also from, when I sat in front of the stove. When was that? January? That one would also be of help now. I also feel like if you're going to do any physical labor, shovel the driveway, you're preparing for your garden, I don't know, this is your job, please stretch before you do that, because you could maybe like sprain something, okay? I guess even if you just sit, like move your body around, because it's necessary. I feel like it'll open up more positive spaces into whatever you're kind of shifting around, okay? Because I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for you, but it's important for you to not keep certain things bottled up, and also to realize, like, if anyone is exploding at you too, there's always something about that. Like, other people's reactions are also showing you, of course, who you are. But that's not just about being like, oh, I can see their self-reflection. It's like, oh, okay, yes, I can see that self-reflection. And now what am I supposed to do differently so that this external thing, if you don't like it, will go away, or if the thing that is positive will continue to grow. Do you know what I mean? And I want to read you the last bit of this poem by Alfred the Great during the 9th century. It's actually the poem he wrote for Lent, last paragraph. It says, "Teach us to do your will, that we may inwardly love you before all things with a pure mind. For you are our Maker and our Redeemer, our help, our comfort, our trust, our hope. Praise and glory be to you now and forever. Amen." I feel like the seal would also be helpful. They're a beautiful energy. Maybe that'll help you feel okay with whatever these feelings are, right? This is a water creature. But they spend a good third of their day just in the sun. They like the sun. They need it, right? And your opposite is Leo, the sun. So maybe just getting outside and getting some would also help you to, I don't know, be softer and make the right choices. Oh, lastly, if you are, because of that moodiness I saw, or that sort of, I feel like there's an internal sloshing a little bit. Try not to, what do they call that? Like therapeutic shopping. You know what I mean? Like, try to go without things if you can, because I feel like you have everything that you need. You know what I mean? Unless it's something really fundamental. Okay. Please take care of yourself. I know I feel like that was a little intense. Any of you who are here, you are very strong. You are very soft. You are very smart. You're very kind and very giving, very inspiring. I appreciate your honesty, your expression as an individual, and your capacity to learn and grow. Okay? All of your support really does matter wherever you are, and in this space or on Patreon, wherever you are. Okay? Please take care. Peace.